Everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And in today's stream, I am continuing with working on an animation. And yeah, it's going pretty well. I actually finished the rest of the elf's hair and his eyes off stream. So after I get everything colored, I'm going to create a masking layer to do his pupils and iris and different things like that. But for now, all in all, things are going pretty good and I'm kind of enjoying it. So right now, I think what I have to do is the back of his head, the back of his hair. And that's going to be, it's not going to be difficult, but it may take me a while. Yeah. Well, actually, no, it shouldn't. So after I finish this, it's all pretty much just coloring. And then I think I should be done with this scene as well. I am lucky that After Effects got an upgrade, so now all I really have to do is just transfer my footage over. Then I can composite it, add different effects, maybe some blurs, sharpen some things, so on and so forth, and then I'll be done, which is pretty nice. And I'm not gonna lie, I do feel kind of bad because I don't know. Like, I've spent a while on this project, and to an extent, it kind of feels like I haven't gotten much done, which is ridiculous because I have gotten quite a lot done. It's just I'm doing all this on my own, so it's like, I guess gauging time isn't really one of my strong suits. this is coming along nicely. I will have to say that maybe one of my fears, I won't call it my biggest fears, but it's definitely a fear that I don't know, I might lose my skill in animation, or like I might get caught up with my other job. And maybe because I'm already, it's not that I'm incapable of animating. It's just, I guess I just don't have my schedule figured out, or like I haven't. It's hard for me to explain what I'm feeling because I spent so long without having a job. And so I had gotten down to the point where, you know, God just give me something, the first thing that calls or accepts me, I'm gonna take it. And that was working in retail. And so I've been working in there for it's been about 4, maybe 5 weeks. It's been so, I'm particularly, I want to say seasoned at it. Well, no, I'm not gonna say seasoned. Season means that I've been there for a while. But like, I'm in there, I'm working, I'm doing my job, and then it's like I'll strike up conversation with my coworkers and even like upper management from time to time. And they're all like, "You got your degree? What are you doing here?" And then I say, "Oh, it's just an in between. Like I'm only here working here for a while and then I'm going to leave and go somewhere else." The one issue is that okay, I've been on Monster, LinkedIn, Indeed, all of them. And like I at least try to upload maybe 6 or 7 job applications a day. And I either get ghosted or I get outright rejected. Sometimes I get a call back, but it ends up being a scam. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, when did people start scamming folks for jobs? Like, honestly, I'll get like check scams like, yeah, we'll give you a job. We just need to send you this check so you can pay for equipment. And I'm like, why would a scammer target someone looking for a job? Like broke people ain't got no money and broke people can't pay for a lawsuit. So why would you even try to wire money through a broke person? It's stuff like that that doesn't make any sense. On if I'm being completely honest, like some people just don't know how to scam, and that sounds like a bad thing, but like it sounds bad when I say, oh, like some people just don't know how to scam, but like for real, why would you try to get money from somebody who's trying to find a job to get money? It makes no sense. Like the very least you could do is pretend you have like a company or something and like you are trading stocks or whatever. Like that would be actually smart. Dang, let me stop before I give some scammers like I mean like y'all ain't scammers, but like let me stop before this stream gets big and then a would be scammers like, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm gonna sell stocks of my company and just get money. Oh my gosh. But like you get what I'm saying. It's like, okay, I have my degree, I have this channel, I have animations I've worked on, I keep my resume up to date. I share almost everything on my resume. The fact that I have a YouTube channel, the fact that I animate, like I run this YouTube channel on my own, so I know about Premiere Pro and Audition. I know how to video edit, audio edit. I know how to like put stuff together. I'm making my own show, so I know how to design characters. I know about color theory. It's just employers aren't biting. And like I've been listening to my dad, like my dad says like, "Oh, finding a job takes time and working in retail isn't going to be permanent." Like I already know it's not going to be permanent. Like if for real, if I'm stuck in retail for a year, I'm just going to walk off one day. Like I'm just going to like not even pack a bag, just put on whatever clothes I can find, walk out my house door and just keep walking. And like I just won't stop. Won't stop walking. That sounds kind of crazy, but like for real. I've also thought about actually applying for corporate positions in the retail job where I work because technically I'm already in the system. So, like, I could just share my resume, keep it up to date, keep it current and consistent. Maybe, like, proofread some stuff and make sure it looks formal. Write a cover letter and say, hey, I'm a lower associate, graduated college, I have my degree in XYZ. Use use my cover letter to like go into detail about my skills and understanding, whatever. Then like apply for a corporate position. And then like months or years later, I can just walk in and I can just look at them and say, "Hey, what's up?" And say, "Hey, what's up? How y'all been?" That sounds horrible. Like it's not as bad as it sounds. Who am I kidding? It sounds pretty bad. Like I shouldn't be acting like that. Now let's play this back and see how it looks. I wonder if I can find the. You know, it's in the subtle things. It's in like the subtle frames and stuff like that. The small and slight hair movements that make the character look as though they're actually moving and actually going forward or backwards in space. Because what I've noticed and what you sort of get taught is as you walk, if you especially if you have long hair, as you walk, your hair moves. There's like the actual wind that you are that is blowing on you, and then there's also the momentum from when you are moving as well. So nothing is meant to stay static, stock still. Now there are some, shows and animated series that they don't really animate the hair, or when they do, it's really only for major like animated scenes or moments. But like the more subtle movements of like, even if you have a piece of hair that is like against your shoulder or is like pushing up against something, it's still gonna move because momentum exists. Like it's not going to move exponentially because of your pace, but you are gonna see there is gonna be some resistance, and maybe like the piece of hair or whatever is flowing is moving slightly. Like even with this character, I made it so that like this area of his hair, it's moving slightly. It's being pushed back on his shoulder. Okay, I think that's done. Hair's done, eyes are done, body is done. Mm. Then I just need to color. Now, coloring does take me a while. Not really because it's difficult or anything, but more so because, like, trying to figure out the color theory. Like, the background I chose for this scene is, I don't want to say super detailed, but I did put a lot of effort into it. So what I sort of want to avoid is like super detailed coloring because I still have to add the shadows. Like that's the one thing I sort of forgot is the cell shaded shadows. And I know that, and what I want to do is like finish coloring everything first before I add the shadows because there are some things that I can sort of, what's the proper word, be lenient with, I guess. Other things I'm gonna have to put more care and time into. I could make him like a dark elf. That would be kind of nice. Like purplish brown skin and white hair. That could be cool. Yeah. It's gonna take me a while to actually think about all this. So like, I guess I can stop. The Joker's done. Who's this? I think he's done as well, maybe. Yeah. Hmm. So yeah, I think all I have to color is him. I just don't feel like doing it right now. This sounds horrible, but like I just don't feel like doing it right now because I spent so much time drawing him. Now I have to draw him and color him in the same day. I'll think about something. Like I'll come back to it because there is other stuff I need to animate, do, work on, yada yada yada. Anyway, what was I saying? So like one of the, I want to say, good things about work is because it takes me so much time. Like I do like to in fact think about my show or think about different animations I could do while I'm working. So like while I'm reshelving some items and zoning, I like to think about my world like, what would retail look like in this show? What kind of shops would people have? Would there be like more private businesses? Would there be more companies? And I'd like to say that for this show, it definitely would be like a combination of the two. Like, even though magic exists, and even though there is, and even though if you're creative enough or strong enough, you could like create or composite together items, you would still need to almost understand how that item is made. Because, like, say you wanted to summon a cell phone, like, someone is gonna have to make a cell phone creation spell for you. Like, you can't just say, I want a cell phone, and because you feel some type of way, a working phone is going to pop in your hand. Like, no. You're gonna need to either get a spell from someone who does know how cell phones are made or does know where cell phones are held, so then it can be like a teleportation slash summoning spell to bring the cell phone to you, or it can be a creation spell where you, using the surrounding molecules as well as your reserves of magic, can generate a working cell phone or device for you. So that's pretty much how that works. And on the topic of summoning, I'm not going to say theft is non existent, but theft is something that is definitely hard to pull off because big industries like retail stores and outlets, they either have their own private wards and defensive magic, or they like hire people to run security for them. Because again, magic exists. So you'd have to account that this society is based off of magic. So you could say, like, oh, people could just steal phones, people could just steal video game consoles or different stuff like that, take money. It's like they can, but people have found a way to ward against that. Like people always try to steal magic, not steal magic, but steal stuff. But it's like there's a special container that does that using different wards and different spells can cause certain types of magic like teleportation to not work. So you'd have to be a very powerful magic user to pull something like that off. And there are typically two different types of wards for anti-theft. There's a basic sort of protection that just keeps things from being stolen. Then there's a more fine-tuned, more interlaced security system where if you steal something, then it's going to track your magical signature. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Anyway, what I mean by that is like, how do I put it? So there are different types of magic. I've gone over this. So there's magic that is more focused on, how you feel. Then there's more utility magic where you explain it, like you use formulas or you use math and science to sort of justify your magic. And so where interlaced magic comes from is those people who use magic through math and science or other different formulas. They like to interlace. It's like a computer programmer. They like to interlace spells on top of spells to have multiple functions and purposes. So someone who has a protective spell on something that keeps it from being stolen, if they're skilled enough or if they're patient enough, they can also put a second or third spell on it that tracks the origin of where that magic is coming from. Because in this world, everyone has a magical signature. Everybody does magic slightly differently from each other, or they have a different philosophy or understanding. And not just that, it's kind of like your magical fingerprint. Like, even though processes and things overlap, like, two people could use math or use formulas to use magic, or two people could use nature for magic. But even then, how they do it is slightly different and unique to the individual. That is what leads to magical residue. And so that magical residue or that specific comprehension can be tracked to a person. And there are caveats to that as well. Like you could have anti detection wards, or you could have some other safeguard in place, but this is a society that is built around magic. This is a science fantasy world where people have magic and science. So it's definitely been fun for me to brainstorm this because honestly, this is wild. This is wild and this is fun. And it's just nice for me to work on this and do this. Like this is exciting for me. And I genuinely love it. I genuinely love working on this and making this not just this world but this story. And this specific story, which is 13, is more so a revenge story. And it's about these people who have been wronged. So they're seeking justice, revenge, what have you. And now that they are seeking to right the wrongs that have been done to them, it is a interlaced issue and a system. Like, so essentially what's been going on is uh so essentially how it works is there's sort of like this big organization that have done these people wrong. Like they've either been experimented on or cast aside or ousted or bad stuff was done to them or lied to. And through those things, their life has more or less gone to shit. And so over the course of the story, what they learn is that not just it wasn't just this one company or it wasn't just this one group of people that did this to them, but these groups had specific departments, divisions, like lesser organizations that specifically wronged them. So they're banding together in order to expose the light. Like there is one organization that they like to experiment on animals. What happened is after magic returned, there was hyperflora and hyperfauna. So like because animals started generating their own magic, people decided to exploit those animals and like carve out their bones for recipes and different stuff like that. And also using magic to sort of augment these creatures further. And obviously, I'm still brainstorming. Like, it's not that my idea is incoherent, but like, I have to account for multiple things. Like, I probably shouldn't talked about animals because we as a society sort of have like this history of exploiting animals, and yeah, and that was a bad idea. That was a bad example. But generally speaking, like these people are doing morally questionable stuff. And those things that they've done have hurt the main characters, and that's why the main characters are seeking revenge. They want to either take out these other groups directly or they want to ruin their name. And then once these horrible groups have been taken down, then they'll each have their own personal moments to where they go directly to the person or go directly to the group and they said, "Hey, you did this. This is your judgment, whatever." And because I have so many main characters, I definitely think that since I have such a big cast of main characters, what I'm definitely going to do is have like break them up and group them or partner them. Not necessarily like those characters are your go to partners and you don't interact with anybody else. It's more so like these characters are going to work together for a mission, and then maybe the next episode you won't see them, or you'll see a character group up with somebody else. And you're going to see as their dynamics sort of blossom and grow. Like one of my main characters, Nancy, the 12-year-old, he's a master of illusions because he's a child, because he's, young or a child. He doesn't fully understand magic yet. So even though he does have, offensive spells, he can fight. Like he can fight, he can duke it out with people, stuff like that. But because he's so young, he is more so in the business of illusion magic and misdirecting people or tricking them and fooling them. So that's where he shines and that's where his specialty is. And then we have Dutch, who is this super soldier, this magic super soldier who was experimented on. And because he was experimented on, he can't have kids. So he almost sees Nancy as a son figure. Like he views Nancy as like a son, and he's like, why are you doing this? You're a kid. Like, wouldn't you rather have fun, go out and play? And Nancy has none of it. He's like, dude, I'm here for a reason. Like, my parents were done dirty. I have to take care of my parents. I can't even go to school anymore. Like, I'm picking stuff up and I am being taught, but like, no, I don't care. I don't care. I just want revenge. I want in on these people. And the thing is that Nancy is also higher rank than Dutch. So Nancy has been in the game for a while longer than him. So, and this sort of dynamic really speaks to innocence, or rather, the innocence that typical adults feel about children. Like most people, most common people do not believe, or rather, do not want to believe, that a child has a capacity or understanding of what they are doing. Like when people see a child, like when a child like goes to juvie or prison for murder, it's like, oh, it was an accident. People try to, defend them or say, oh, it was an accident, it was mental illness, or like, oh, he didn't understand what he was doing. And this particular character dynamic of Nancy and Dutch directly has traces of that. Dutch is the typical adult that thinks that Nancy doesn't understand what he's doing. Nancy is like, no, I know exactly what I'm doing. Like some of these plans that the group has been following, I've thought up. And like I am a role in these plans. Like I'm not being used, I'm not being abused, nobody's using me. I'm here of my own volition. And like many of the other characters, some of them are uncomfortable with how cold Nancy can be, but Nancy doesn't care. Like he's just out for revenge. And he doesn't have any mental health issues. He's no like woe is me. And in many ways and instances, a lot of the things he believes and does are not justified. He has every right to seek the revenge and justice he wants as all the other characters. And so that's gonna definitely be a big element in the show. Next we have Trina. Trina is an she's a bit of the chemist slash alchemist character. I think you saw like some of my work in progress art for her. I'm still working on it by the way, but like still. And her whole personal story is that she was discredited. She was essentially the lead scientist that discovered like multiple uses for magic, and pretty much how to like change the nature of magic. Like the leader, Ao, he discovered magic, whereas Trina, she more so used she was the first to actually apply magic to like science or like sort of define or help define the different aspects of magic. So in all honesty, it's like Ao and Trina are probably the two strongest magic users because one of them discovered it, the other one was able to quantify and define it. So they're very powerful. Anyway, that's besides the point. Trina's whole story is that her supervisor actually took credit for her direct discovery. Like Trina was in the lab, she was running tests. She was running tests on herself, on magic. Like she was meditating on top of like using magic, using different formulas and doing different math. And that was when she discovered, like, hey, we can do all this stuff. And so she brought it to her supervisor. But her supervisor essentially took credit for her work. And she got really pissed off and angry. Like she went full activist, like you stole my work, you did XYZ. She tried to go to the public and she was able to get a following. Like some people did believe her, but at the same time, like others lied on her, discredited her, and she essentially got like some of her she essentially got like many of her qualifications and certifications removed and revoked because of bad behavior, and that really pissed her off. And she is like very upset about that, and it's like, you dragged my name through the mud, and why couldn't you just say that I discovered this and I found this out? Why couldn't you give me my credit? And that's why she's after revenge. You already know Dutch's story. Ao, I think I touched on Ao's background like a while ago. Uh, what are the characters? So, oh yeah, so let me just go down the list. Witches 13 has 13 members. Ao is number one, he's the leader. Trina is three. Two is a special place, and I'm going to leave that character mysterious. And then Nancy is rank 7. Wait, no. I think Nancy was rank 6. 6 and 7 are big numbers in this show. I've touched on it in like an earlier stream. Essentially, I do take inspiration from like Christianity and Catholicism, like the six things God hates. So that's where the six comes from. The top high ranking members of Witches 13, their plight and their motivations are seen as justified. Like they were done dirty in specific ways that seem okay for them to seek justice, revenge, what have you. And then the lower 7, they are more so based on virtues and the 7 deadly sins and how they are both illusions and subversions of each other. Like you could equally say that the consequences that Dutch faced were out of both lust and love because he had a fiance, a future wife that he wanted to have a family with, and he only sought that sort of experimentation because he knew that he would get more powerful and he would get a raise in position that could potentially give him more money so that he could finally be in the perfect position and place to marry his wife, officially marry and start a life with his wife. Though that backfired on him and he lost his ability to have the future he craved and desired. Another sort of upper character is this woman, and her whole story is that her sister is missing. So she's trying to find her sister. And she does have vague hints and vague ideas of what happened to her or what may have happened to her. She just doesn't know all the details and information. So, like, she's trying to investigate, discover, and, like, as the story progresses, she learns, like, new and more details that sort of shine lights on what happened to her sister and where her sister has been. I'm still thinking about characters and like other stuff like that. And it's kind of okay that I haven't figured out the entire main cast because at the same time, what almost plan to do is like two of the two of the witches I do actually want to be crowdfunded. Like after I finish the teaser trailer and once I get started on the actual pilot, through the process, like there'll be different touchstones and place markers where I'll say, hey, we've reached so and so likes, or we've reached so and so amount of milestones. Now you guys get to design a character that'll be a main character. Or like you guys can create the design for the main character, and that'll be like something fun and interesting that can be done. And there will be like different milestones for that. Because one of the main things about this show that I really want to project is that it's very much a show about it's very much a show about like feelings and how people react and how people respond to different stimuli, good and bad. So it's like to see these characters who are powerful and who can do amazing things, like how do they respond to trauma? How do they respond to things going their way and things not going their way? How has their past affect their present, and what sort of consequences or even rewards can happen after they've done what they've done? I mean, honestly, I do think that maybe I should give animating a break. Well, not really give animating a break, but just spend some time to really concentrate and try to brainstorm this story more. I do think that I have it at a okay place, maybe. I am confident in my show. That's not even like a question. I'm confident in my show, in my concept, in practically everything. I just do think I want to spend more time, and I can. Let's see. I've already finished this character. I don't feel like coloring him. And I'm pretty sure I've already colored all the other characters. So I might go down to like scene 4 and already finished scene 4. I just have to work on the portal. Uh, this is scene 5, I believe. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. I do actually want to oh my gosh. There's a lot of reanimating going on, I swear. Like, why can't I just get it right the first time? Dang. You know what? No. Sometimes you just gotta. Hold on, let me actually loop this and see where I'm having issues with. So I'm going to put this in here. Going to set this to 50%. Then I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to select these two, put them in there, and then set it to, say, 50% as well. Now, first, I do want to figure out where this is, what this is, and what this belongs to. So first, let me go I could probably actually use the circle tool for that. That would actually look better. So pretty much all the stuff in the back corner looks good. So what I might end up doing is after I change. So I'm going to add a new layer, put it right here. I'm going to enter the keyframe and then switching to, let me use the eyedropper and select this. Yeah, this is the more boring side of animation. Not really boring, but tedious because you're not really doing anything actiony or crazy or wild. Okay. Now let me try something different. Let's see, what's a nice color? A nice light purple, I think. Now let's see, what am I gonna do with this? I think what I wanted to do is sort of arc out from the foreground. Ooh, I bet. So I definitely wanted to arc out from the foreground, go up, get smaller, to the background, go up, and then it's gonna cut, and that'll be like an in-between scene to where then you guys are gonna see this happening. And I'm definitely gonna make it look more presentable and nice and pretty like. To where it's then gonna go out, get smaller, dive down, and then go up. Before then coming back, crashing down, and then make like a big mushroom that arcs out. But I don't want it to be. I guess what I could do is also add like maybe a effect of some kind. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll think of it on the fly. Like I need to work on my freehand where I just animate instead of working from frame to frame. So that's what I'm gonna do. Wish me luck, y'all. That's really the best thing I can say is just wish me luck. Now let's see. Because the last frame ended with the main character going through a portal, I think it would be cool if sort of like that portal was sort of like this beam of energy or whatever. I don't know. Wait a minute. Let me see how this scene ends. It ends like